All right. Today we're going to be figuring out what on earth is a Gharial. What is a Gharial? We know that it's a crocodilian, but what is it? And why does it look like that? What on earth is a Gharial? Why does it look like that? Why is its snout so skinny? Today we're going to be investigating all of these very important mysteries. Let's get to it. First up, we're just going to use our trusty friend Google. What is a Gharial? Yeah, okay. That's one of the other things that I need to figure out is some of them have this really, let's be honest and call it what it is. It's ugly. Okay, this ugly snout thing. This like, I don't know what that is. Gharial. Gharial, also known as gavial or fish-eating crocodile, is a crocodilian in the family Gavialidae and among the longest of all living crocodilians. Adult males have a distinct boss at the end of the snout, which resembles an earthenware pot known as a gara. Okay, like that. Okay, that must be the thing that I was just saying looked ugly. All right, here we go. Bump on the nose. All right, here we go. Bump on the nose. When a male gharial is about 10 years old, a bump of cartilage starts. All right, bump on the nose. When a male gharial is about 10 years old, a bump of cartilage starts to grow at the tip of his snout. Eventually, the bump becomes a big knob. Yeah, that's a big knob. An adult male gharial can make a buzzing noise through its knob. Gharials are the only crocodilians with these knobs, and they grow only on males. Okay, but what's the purpose of it? Used for attracting mates. Somehow that's not surprising. Somehow I'm more disgusted. This structure, unique to male gharials, acts as a visual signal and a vocal resonator, producing a buzzing sound that can be heard from a distance. Okay, so they can make noise with it, and you can hear some noise. What does that even sound like? Male gharial noise. I don't even know. It sounds like it's in pain. This can't be. Is that really it? Male gharial hissing. Okay, this is like an actual video. Oh my goodness. God, it's so terrifying. It didn't hiss. It lied. It says male gharial hissing, and I don't think I heard anything. Yeah, what that mouth do? Yo, how's that jawberry track? How's that next jawberry track? Chico Honey? Um All right, Gharial sound effects. Look how completely exaggerated this drawing is. That's just the same sound from earlier. Oh my goodness. Gharials don't boop the snoot.
An ancient beast with razor-sharp teeth.
Ugh.
It can swim as fast as fish and has a quick bite to match. This is the incredible Gharial.
Gharial. I've been saying Gharial. Gharial? Which one is it?
Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and you're watching Animal Logic. The Gharial is one of the most specialized and rarest crocodilians in the world.
Ugh. Ugh. Hold on. Jesus, that is ugly. I mean, it looks like a zombie crocodile. At least this one does. This one got the genetic short end of the stick.
Like its ancient cousins, they've been on Earth for over 100 million years and shared the planet with the dinosaurs of the Cretaceous. They're found in the rivers of northern India and Nepal, where they share their territory with the thicker mugger crocodiles.
Their most unique feature is their long, thin snout with a little bulb at the end. This is an adaptation to hunt.
Gharials are fish specialists and need to have a quick bite to catch agile aquatic prey. Their thin snout cuts through the water with little water resistance. Wide-snouted crocs have stronger bites but aren't nearly as
Oh dear, look at that.
fast as Gharials. There are other pescatarian crocodilians, but none are as fast and large as the Gharial.
Okay, so how fast is it? How fast is it? Hold on. How fast is a Gharial? Gharial. Not a Gharial, Gharial. In the water, however, they're more agile and can swim at speeds up to basically 17.5 miles per hour. So what's like a regular, like, it's like Nile crocodile swimming speed? 22 miles an hour. So Gharials are slow. So, okay, so then just like, what's the fastest crocodilian? Freshwater crocodiles. So the fastest on land is 10.5 miles an hour. Okay, but that's not that fast, I guess, right? Like, how many miles per hour does Usain Bolt run? 27, basically 28 miles per hour. And the fastest crocodile's only got 10 miles an hour, okay? It's not very impressive. While other crocodilians like the Nile crocodile and saltwater crocodile can also achieve impressive speeds, the freshwater crocodile holds the record for the fastest recorded gallop. That's right. Alligators gallop, although it seems like gharials don't have very strong legs, so they can't go very fast.
The most famous of them is the Malayan false gharial, which lacks the bulb at the end of its snout.
This is the scariest animal, in my opinion, just by far. Especially at night.
Gharials have weaker bites than smaller crocodiles, but that doesn't mean they're not lethal. They have over 100 needle-like teeth. They interlock like a zipper, trapping fish in the gharial's mouth. Gharials usually ambush their prey, but they also have been observed rapidly shaking their head to catch fish. They also eat other aquatic prey such as crustaceans and frogs, especially when young. There are reports of gharials catching small dogs and goats, but fish make up the vast majority of their diet.
Gharials don't attack people, but sometimes they do eat dead bodies.
In some cultures in their range, funeral traditions include releasing dead bodies into the river. Gharials take advantage of this for an easy meal. This doesn't mean that you should approach them. Gharials are huge. They're larger than Nile and American crocodiles. Males are about 4.5 meters long on average, with some size kings getting to over 6 meters.
Jesus, so they're even bigger. Now imagine it's 32 feet long. Yeah, that would be terrible. God, I just think this is the scariest animal. This is the scariest type of animal, easily. All right. Okay, so let's figure out why exactly the snout is so skinny. I don't quite understand that yet. Oh my goodness. Only about 250 gharials remain in the wild. They face many threats. Only 250. Hold on. How many gharials are left? This says 650 to 1,000, making them a critically endangered species. Their population has drastically declined, with estimates suggesting a 98% decrease since the 1940s. They are found in fragmented populations in India and Nepal, primarily in the Chambal River and some rivers in Nepal. Okay, this is really too bad. The areas in black here are where they're found. Whereas, like, if you look at the global distribution of, like, just crocodiles, although, are they including gharials? I don't think so. Okay, so the scientific name of a gharial is Gharials gangetis. And yes, I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong, but That's not listed on here. So it just goes to show how endangered the gharial actually is. You got like a little bit up here. Like some of them seem like they're almost like near the mountains. And why? All right, well, let's keep learning something about them. Okay. The evolution of the gharial and its relationship with and divergence from other crocodilians has been a subject of controversy. Some authors assume that the gharial evolved earlier than the other crocodilians because of its distinct skull shape and dentition, indicating a more advanced level of specialization. Others suggested that it evolved much later than other crocodilians because of its low levels of blood protein divergence, as it shares this trait with the false gharial. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I feel like getting bit by this thing... Oh, that's a good picture. Getting bit by this thing would obviously still be terrible, but it would hurt not nearly as bad as like a Nile crocodile or something like that. Okay, so they're in the Gharialidae family. So hold on. So the Gharialidae family... It's a family of large semi-aquatic crocodilians with elongated, narrow snouts. So the narrow snouts is what... is kind of what defines them. Gharials exhibit sexual dimorphism, or differences in characteristics between male and females of the same species in both size and appearance. Adult males develop a bulbous growth at the top tip of their snout called a gara, after the Indian pot it resembles. The gar has several functions. It partially covers the crocodile's nostrils and acts as a vocal resonator, creating a loud buzzing sound when the gharial vocalizes. It also is a visual signal for females, helping males attract a mate. Okay, yeah, we already went over that. Because of their weak leg muscles, gharials are poorly equipped for locomotion on land. Most of their movement takes place in the water. When they do move across land, gharials push their body forward across the ground, a motion known as belly sliding. Belly sliding? Oh god, this video is 12 years old. Oh. It doesn't look like it's belly sliding, really. It's just moving normally. Okay, hold on. So what was it saying? When they do move across land, gharials push their bodies forward across the ground. Okay. Oh dear. Hold on. Whoa, okay. Just imagine swimming, okay? And that, it just comes up upon you. God. One of the meanest looking species on the planet. Easily. Easily. Huge Gharials make a dash. Oh. Hold on. Oh, that was underwhelming. Adult and baby Gharials Ganges. Oh, the Ganges, the river.
As night falls over the desert, the Chumble's most unusual inhabitants begin to surface.
I feel like its eyes are like way more on the top of its head than like a crocodile or an alligator, right? Like look at like if we look at like a Nile crocodile. I mean, and then if you look at like an American alligator. Okay, so this is a Nile crocodile. That's the Gharial, which its eyes are way higher up. I guess it's because it spends more time in the water. That's what it said. But honestly, like, this American alligator, its eyes are so close together, it's giving like a spider or something. Like, see what I mean? Also, like, isn't that disgusting? Okay, I can't even look at that. All right, let's keep watching this.
On warm May nights, bizarre-looking crocodiles haul themselves far up the sandy banks, beckoned by strange sounds. This female Gharial is responding to calls from her young, telling her they're ready to enter their new world. Yet they're still within eggs, buried in the sand, and they
That, like, whining sound must be the babies.
need their mother to dig them out. As few as 200 of these extraordinary reptiles survive in the wild. So this precious brood represents a new generation of hope for the endangered Gharial.
That's right, there's like only like 500 of them left.
Now exposed, they're vulnerable to predators. An instinct drives them towards the sanctuary of the river.
That's crazy because I feel like there's more predators in the water, but maybe that's just me being scared of being in the water. So, I mean, hold on. I guess, like, do they even have predators? Adult Gharials, due to their size and aquatic nature, generally have no natural predators other than humans. However, young Gharials and their eggs are vulnerable to predation by various animals, including rats, golden jackals, wild pigs, mongooses, and monitor lizards. Okay, that makes sense. A golden jackal? A golden jackal. India. Okay. It's just another one of these dog species that just looks like every other wolf or dog species. Actually, you know what? It looks kind of derpy. That looks like taxidermy, doesn't it? I don't know. Almost doesn't look real. All right. So, adult gharials primarily eat fish, while juveniles also feed on insects, crustaceans, and frogs. Okay, the crocodile's unique snout, along with its sharp interlocking teeth, help it capture prey, quickly striking at fish in the water. At the Smithsonian's National Zoo, gharials eat a variety of fish. Like other crocodilians, gharials are polygamists. They're polygamists, with one male defending a territory where he and several females live. Okay. Territorial and courting display behaviors include head slapping the water and buzzing vocalizations.
But even here, monsters lurk. Male gharial that grow up to 6 meters long also inhabit these waters, and at night they're on the hunt.
So they eat their own babies. God. Nature is way too brutal. Okay, this is why you'll never catch me. I like hiking and camping, but you'll never catch me somewhere with actual danger. Okay?
The gharial's formidable-looking jaws are actually specialized for catching fish. A thin profile allows them to snap shut with minimal water resistance. But in the shadowy light, a small hatchling can easily be mistaken for prey.
Okay, so the males don't try to go for the babies. But it's like their sight is kind of bad, so they end up eating them because they think it's fish.
During the early days of life, it pays to stick close to mum. Gharials may be cold-blooded, but they make devoted mothers. For 6 months, they attentively guard their young, and even share babysitting duties with other mothers to allow each other a little time off to hunt.
That's crazy. They babysit for each other. All right.
Well, hi there. Crocodilians are...
Nope, this crocodile has not had its snout smushed in an unfortunate accident. It might look like a killer creature straight out of Jurassic Park, but this strange-looking super predator has been prowling big rivers in South Asia for thousands of years. This is a gharial.
Thousands of years? I thought they've been around for 100 million years. Evolution. Yeah, they're like 100 million years old. That's like as old as like any of the other like crocodiles or alligators.
one of the largest crocodilians alive, with adult males growing to nearly 6 meters in length. And now it can only be seen in a few isolated places in India and Nepal. Impressive! But seriously, what is going on with that strange snout? Should you be afraid of those razor-sharp teeth? What else makes the gharial
Should you be afraid? What kind of question is that?
crocodile with a difference? Let's find out. Catching and eating fish is the gharial's specialty. And
Hold on, when did this video? I feel like this was made by AI. 3 years ago? Okay, maybe not.
its snout is nature's meanest fishing rod.
Being a smart big fish.
Sensory pits all over its head detect tiny vibrations in the water, and with lightning speed, a gharial can whip its head sideways, snapping up any nearby fish.
Yeah, too bad it's not even the fastest crocodilian. Not even close.
Its slender,
It's like 5 miles per hour slower than a Nile crocodile.
long shape reduces drag, and even the most agile, slippery fish stands no chance against 110 interlocking sharp teeth. No chewing required, a gharial's meals are swallowed whole. From the smallest youngster to the biggest adult, fish is all a gharial eats. Hatchlings weigh only 100 grams, but they can grow to a massive 1,000 kilograms. But
Oh, it's so fat.
what's that gnarly-looking knob on that big gharial's snout?
It's a gara, which is like a Indian pot. We've already learned this.
Well, it's a handy way to tell the difference
And it's only males have it, and it's used as a vocal resonator for mating calls.
between males and females among adults. The male has a distinct bulbous growth on his snout.
What? First of all, this tooth is coming straight out, straight forward, and this one's going down. That just looks like that shouldn't be that way. That looks wrong. And also, doesn't this look way fatter and way more, like, swollen than, like, every other image we've looked at?
The gara, which means earthen pot in Hindi. It's a spongy extension of his nose with breathing holes. That's how the gharial
You know, in some of these pictures of it, it almost looks like you could, like, literally
His nose.
snap off the snout. Like,
With
it's
breathing
so
holes.
sort of, like, thin and, like, you know, if you grabbed it, you could just snap it off like a stick.
That's how the gharial got its name. A male uses his gara to make sounds to attract females and tell anyone listening who he is and where he is. Scientists are studying how gharials use these sounds to communicate. Male gharials breathe through their gara loudly to make buzzing sounds and explosive pops underwater. And boy, do these social signals work wonders. Gharials have multiple mates. A dominant male usually breeds with many females. After a month or more, many females group together and decide where to lay their nests to create a large colony. The baby's gender is dependent on the temperature at which they are incubated. Males are generally produced in warmer temperatures. The females are the cooler sex. You got that right.
Totally.
After incubating for 2.5 months, all 30 to 50 babies from each nest walk down to the shoreline on their own. Once safely at the shoreline, a gharial nursery forms called a creche, and babies gather in the hundreds, even 1,000 or more, just before the monsoon. Unlike other crocodiles with wider snouts, a gharial's slender mouth is probably too narrow and too full of sharp teeth to be of much use for carrying the youngsters from the nest to the water safely. Both males and females make doting parents, but the male guardian tends to be a lot more hands-on. He defends any babies nearby as they walk to the water from riverside nests. Each male babysitter will let hatchlings use his head, back, and tail as a basking platform.
Okay, and apparently also will eat the young at night if he can't see correctly and thinks it's prey.
Well, that's a good dad.
That's not a good dad. I'm sorry. He might eat you, No.
Fledglings can be seen climbing all over him and heard calling out to him and each other with soft grunting sounds. The adults work together to defend their babies from many kinds of hungry predators. They're on guard constantly, day and night, against storks with sharp bills and jackals sneaking around the gharial nursery. But the gharial does a shabby job of walking on land. It's nothing like the terrifying semi-upright crocodile stance of your nightmares. Its legs are too short and weak to help lift its belly off the ground. Sliding and crawling along on its belly awkwardly, the gharial only comes on land to lay eggs, to bask in the sun, or rest at night. But if you ever come across one of these crocs,
What on earth was that? Hold on.
to bask in the sun or rest at night. But if you ever
Is this from a movie? Hold on. 20th Century Studios. Okay. All right. This is not real. Okay.
come across one of these crocs, don't worry. It's not too keen on snacking on humans or other land animals. Gharials may look
Oh, that's
scary,
sick.
but they're rather shy. That might be because humans have brought them to the brink of extinction. Dam construction, bridge crossings, and water extraction for irrigation has changed many riverine habitats for gharials. There are fewer than 1,000 adults left in the wild. Sand mining removes critical nesting beaches, and net fishing threatens to accidentally drown gharials. The Chambal River in North India is home to more than 80% of the remaining gharials and is the best place to see wild gharial today. Zoos across the globe support gharial conservation.
Okay. So all right, behavior. Unlike other crocodilian species that are semi-aquatic and even hunt on land in some cases, gharials spend almost all of their time in the water and only leave to warm their bodies up by basking in the sun and to make nests. In the same way as similar species, gharials are unable to regulate their body temperature internally and instead rely on their surroundings to do it for them. Their weak leg muscles mean that gharials have to drag themselves. So it basically just seems like they're a giant block of meat that is like too big for their legs. So they have to swim all the time. But they're not even the fastest crocodile swimmers, okay? Because that's Nile crocodiles. And they have a really thin snout, which is really only good for eating fish. The babies are either picked off by jackals or rodents or like warthogs, things like that, as they make their way from their nest to the water. Or once they get to the water, if it's nighttime, the males might just eat them, thinking that they're fish. This kind of seems like a cursed species to me. They're also incredibly endangered, and there's like almost none of them left. That's a pretty sick picture. It's got turtles hanging out on it. Historically, gharials had a wide distribution throughout the Indian subcontinent, from Pakistan in the west across to parts of Myanmar and south into India. Today, however, they are confined to small and increasingly more isolated regions in northern India. Okay, yeah, that's that. We were looking at that earlier. The degradation of their freshwater habitats has had enormous implications for gharials and has contributed to their severe population decline in modern times. They're almost solely aquatic lifestyle means that the gharials are heavily dependent on healthy river systems, and when these decline, so do the numbers of individuals that exist in them. So, I mean, that makes sense. If you're a species that is confined to a very specific habitat, as as humans encroach, you're screwed. You can't adapt because they don't even have legs that work. So does that mean, like, as time goes on, they would just lose their legs? Just become entirely water dwelling? I guess not if humans are like diverting their habitats and they can't swim anywhere. Gharials are carnivorous reptiles that primarily feed on fish in the water, but will also sometimes take aquatic birds should the opportunity arise. Their specially adapted long, thin snouts contain over 100 small razor-sharp teeth, which are used to sink into their prey when they snap their powerful jaws shut. That's the other thing, is I don't even think their jaws are as powerful as like an actual crocodile. So gharial bite force. All right, versus crocodile versus alligator. All right, crocodiles generally have the strongest bite force among crocodiles, alligators, and gharials. Saltwater crocodiles in particular have been recorded with the highest bite force of any living animal. Yeah, look at this. Gharials, with their long, slender snouts, have the weakest bite force among the three. This is just the cursed crocodile species. That's crazy, the disparity. Crocodiles, a bite force of up to 3,700 psi. Alligators, a bite force of around 2,125 psi. And the lowly gharial, with a bite force of around 400. Wait, 400 pounds of force. Okay, hold on. So pounds of force to psi. Pounds to psi, so 450. What am I looking at here?
Crocodiles, alligators, caimans, gharials. Can you guys tell them who is who? Crocodiles, alligators, caimans, gharials. Can you guys tell them who is who, or you just call them all crocodiles?
This has to be made by AI. What is that? What was that? 1 year ago? I guess it could be made by AI.
Hey everyone, welcome back.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This video is about to be terrible. All right, reproduction, babies, and lifespan. During the mating season, male gharials become fiercely territorial and use vocalizations and bubble displays created by the bulbous bump on the end of their snout to attract and assemble a harem of females which they mate with in the water. After mating, female gharials leave the water to lay their eggs in a nest that is a good distance away from the water to prevent it from becoming flooded. Okay, that makes sense. But then they're just vulnerable once they try to get from the nest to the water after they've hatched. Between 30 and 50 hard, leathery eggs are laid between March and May that weigh around 150 grams each. Female gharials protect their eggs and young when they emerge, but unlike other crocodilian species that help their young into the water by carrying them in their mouths, Female gharials are unable to do this because of the shape of their snouts. This is the cursed crocodilian species. Juvenile gharials remain close to their mothers until they are large enough to defend themselves against predators and are able to breed when they are around 10 years old. So, like, what's, like, the survival rate of, like, a baby gharial? What is the survival rate of a gharial? Ooh, while some studies indicate a survival rate of around 7%, for captive released gharials in certain areas. Hatchlings. A substantial number of gharial eggs are lost between laying and hatching, and predation is a significant factor in affecting hatchling survival. All right, so this says this is a study: reproductive success, hatchling survival, and rate of increase of Gharial Gavialis gangeticus in National Chambal Sanctuary, India. A substantial number of eggs, 32.1%, were lost between egg laying and hatching, largely due to eggs being damaged during nest searches, predation, desiccation, and unknown reasons. 32% of the eggs are lost between laying and hatching. Okay, that's not even after they've hatched and then they're trying to make it to the water. During the study period, the overall hatching success was 67.9%. Okay, so basically they're born and then the monsoon season happens. So when is the monsoon in India? Typically lasts from June to September. Okay, so they're born from in May. That's what it was saying. In like March to May. Then the monsoon happens in June. So the beginning of their life is right when the monsoon starts. The egg to post-monsoon survivorship was 6.6% in 1987 to 1988 and 4.3% in 1989 to 1990 with a mean of 5.5%. Jesus. So I don't want to say for sure, but it seems like what this is saying is that the rate of survival, at least between 1987 to 1990, that if you're a baby gharial, your chance of actually surviving past the monsoon season is like 5%. The Gharial Gavialis gangeticus is endemic to the Indian subcontinent, occurring in the Indus, Ganges, Brahmaputra, and the Mahanadi river systems. It was on the verge of extinction by the mid-1970s due to loss of habitat and indiscriminate hunting and intensification of fishing by nylon nets, which causes large-scale mortalities due to entanglement and drowning. It is believed that the gharial is now extinct from Bhutan and almost extinct in Bangladesh and Pakistan, where fewer than 20 individuals may be present in each country. 20 individuals. Considering their vulnerability, the government of India enforced protective legislation through the Indian Wildlife Protection Act, which prohibits killing. All right, well, I think that's where we're going to leave it. The life of a gharial is horror. And it is the last crocodilian species you would want to be if you were reincarnated. So, yeah. That's that.